As we gather together today, let's start. How I start every session is by centering ourselves. And I like to center myself with, I say a prayer, a saying, whatever your heart desires. So if you want to take a deep breath in with me and release, we release all anxiety and worry, judgment about ourselves and others. And we step into trust, the energy of trust, the feeling of trusting ourselves and trusting that divine guidance is moving to us, with us, through us, for us, right here and right now. Knowing that we are safe, protected, but also available to receive right here, right now, what is being shared. Take one more deep breath and release. I am Sarah Sparks, the creator of The Healed Process. Many of you already know me, some more intimate than others. I'm also an international Amazon bestseller. Actually, the book, 144 Wealth Codes, which many of you have, came out 3 years ago yesterday. So that was a fun day that if you guys can remember that, but it's 144 wealth codes and I channeled that. So all the work that I do, even this evening's conversation is channeled. I sit and I allow divine to speak through me for each and every single one of you. Divine was like, Sarah, all that I want you to do is to feel what these individuals are experiencing and feeling and come from that space during our conversation this evening. So I really hope that my prayer is that what I share this evening, what Divine has asked me to share, resonates with you. And it's not just a talk that you listen to, but that you participate in, and it's an experience for each of you. So Divine asked me a little over 3 years ago to take on a new identity. And I had absolutely no idea what that meant. When the word identity started becoming quote unquote popular, I was like, I don't know, how do I identify myself? And what does that even mean? And Divine was like, well, what I mean by that is that I no longer need you to be making decisions, running a business, coaching clients, leading your family through the mindset of your wounds. And at the time, I didn't even know I had wounds. You know, a lot of times there was a quote that I found on Instagram that was like, you get bitten by a snake. So I imagine the snake coming and biting me. And I was like, but I need to analyze why the snake bit me. But then the quote was like, but it bit you. And now you have wounds. Are you going to go after the snake or are you going to heal the wounds? And I was like, oh, that's what Divine's been talking about. And I have these wounds. And I'm like, all right. So through the course of 3 years, I uncovered what my core wound is. I stopped focusing on what others did or did not do to me. I released the need. This is key. There is a need. And I want, anytime that I'm sharing, put yourself in the story plot and be like, have some reflection. Because sometimes I'm not always direct and, hey, pay attention. You need to know this. I kind of talk in stories. And so part of what I did over those 3 years was I released the need to take responsibility for every single one of my clients and whether they lived out their soul's calling or not. But there was a need there. Pay attention to that and ask yourself, is there any need that I may need to release? I freed myself from past mistakes, hurts, and I even gave myself um, permission through this new identity, the ability to live a healed life. Archangel Uriel came to me one evening and said, Sarah, your new identity, and it wrote up on the ceiling in all caps in fire. It was written like it was in fire. There's reds and golds. And new identity was in cursive, colon, all caps, healed. No idea what that meant. Maybe you don't either. Maybe you're like, I don't know, what does healed mean? Or maybe you're like, Sarah, I got this. I totally have analyzed the word healed and I got this. So what I did was I asked God, I asked Divine, what does healed even mean? See if any of this resonates with you. So when someone is healed, they are, and you may want to be taking notes and feeling into this, however you process information. So when someone is healed, they are free from the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions they have held as true. And those beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that they honestly have kept them stuck in versions of themselves rooted in the past. That version of themselves kept them alive. It kept them growing. It brought us pain and suffering, but it helped us to grow. And ultimately, it helped us to become the person that we are today, right? That past version of ourselves really has done a lot for us. But, and Divine, like in bold and in all caps letters, we're like, but, dot, dot, dot. This version of ourselves has been operating from childhood wounds, inherited beliefs, and stagnated emotions. And so now this version is being asked to be released. Not because it's wrong. Nope. Not because we failed or that version of us failed, but it served its purpose. I don't know if any of you have watched me or looked at me or wondered, Sarah, you channeled your own soul's calling and you channeled my soul's calling and you channeled my purpose and you helped me to live in alignment with that purpose. You mean to tell me that somehow you weren't living your soul's purpose or your soul's calling? Like, and I was. But my day-to-day operations and how I felt that I needed to prove to everyone that I could channel. I felt like I had this responsibility to never let any of my clients ever feel alone. And those thoughts, those feelings, I was operating from childhood wounds that I'll get to it, but I don't know, maybe I will or won't, but it was from abandonment. And a lot of my clients come to me with that core wound of abandonment. That's why tonight I emphasize, why do we leave ourselves behind? I asked myself when I hired my first business coach in 2012, I was like, she asked me, if there was one thing that you could teach, that one thing you could share with anyone in the world, that like, your life lesson, what would it be? I was like, I would share that you do not have to give up on yourself for the love of another. And as I was living out my soul's calling and channeling for others and building a glorious business that brought this house and fed and clothed, and I made a living for the family of 4, I realized that I was operating from the wounds, inherited beliefs, and stagnated emotions. And it was end up causing me some burnout. Is any of this resonating with you so far? Yes, no? Just, you can make comments in the chat. Just let me know, like, what's going on? How are you operating? I know I'm asking broad questions here, not just yes or no, but you can fill me in, okay? So I can truly feel you. So what I learned though is that this version wants to be set free. So the now version, the person that you have become, that I have become, the person who knows what they want, understands themselves, and is ready and willing to soar to new levels of happiness, health, wealth, and peace, can finally live, lead, and love freely. I am. Hang on just a second. Let me bring up the chat so I can see. Yes. Okay. Yes. Is all right. Yep. Yep. All right. Okay. Good. I'm glad that I am speaking in a way that you understand and that it is clear. All right. And so what I have found is that what Divine was like, Sarah, when I'm asking, like, what does healed mean? And Divine's like, ultimately, Sarah, these people who want to live healed, they want to live the life that their soul came here to live. Not what their wounds, not what somebody else outside of themselves. They want to live the life that their soul came here to experience. They no longer want to live from the past, their wounds, their hurts. They want to live from who they are now. Do you want to live for who by are you living from and are you operating from who you are now? I catch myself. There's an experience I'm going to walk you through later. I caught myself wanting to operate from a past self just today. I'll show you what I did. All right. I'll show you. So with all that being said, how do you get there? How do you get there to live this life that is free from beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that you have held true your whole life? It all begins with a question. And that question is, why do I keep leaving myself behind? If you want to reflect for a moment, why do I keep leaving myself behind? And write down what comes up for you for your own awareness. Someone has shared, because family members are more important. Yeah. The answer to that question is that you have been taught somewhere along the way it was safer to abandon, to give up, to leave a part of yourself behind. It was safer to do that than to do what you knew or know is right in your heart, in your soul, and in your energy. Someone shared that she's a mom who put her family first, and as moms, we put ourselves last. And I get that. If I pause and look in a different direction, I'm now reading chats and I'm letting people in. So just so you know. I had that thought too, and I can relate to that. I am a mom. I'm a mom of two girls, and they're young. They're 12 and 8. But I don't want them to put themselves last. So with this awareness of who and why do I keep leaving a part of myself behind? I no longer do. So I don't want them to. So I switched it around as my motivation. So as instead of them being I need to put them first. I need to put myself last. There's more. No, I take time for me because I want them. I want them to do that for themselves. So I asked Divine to share with us what is going on in our everyday life when we leave ourselves behind. Do you want to know the answer? It's kind of a rhetorical question because, I'm going to share it with you. Here's what Divine said, that you've reached a place where you are saying to yourself, I don't want to keep living like this. Is this really my life? I had that moment. It was literally, I changed up my office. I moved to a different location. So anyways, I was over there, over yonder. And I was like, I don't want to keep living like this. I felt like my desk was my jail. And here I'm a business owner, getting to create my own hours, work with whomever I want to work with, and I'm feeling this way? Hold up. I'm leaving a piece of myself behind. Nope. So Divine goes on to share with us that you know who you are, or at least you know there is a deeper version of you waiting to be remembered. You know what you want, but you keep finding yourself doing things that take you further away from it. As someone has said in the chat, you keep putting yourself last. You overgive, you overthink, you people please, stay when you know it's time to go, say yes when your whole body is saying no. You carry responsibilities that aren't yours. Make yourself smaller to keep the peace. I don't know, we probably don't know this about each other. I'm 5'9", and I had spent most of my life making myself smaller so I could fit in. What? No, no more, I say. So you may even work harder when you really just need to stop. This presentation, I'm giving you even now in the moment examples. Divine says to me, Sarah, all that I want you to do is just channel. I was like, all right. There was still that piece of me, that past me that was like, oh, you have to make sure. I'm going to tell you now, it doesn't have to be. And somehow, you may have even noticed this. Somehow, these same patterns keep showing up. I got numerous clients that have this experience as well. They experience the same patterns in their relationships, work, money, family, the way that you see yourself, the way that you love, the way that you receive. You may have even spent years trying to change your circumstances, your habits, your relationships, the business, and all the things. Love, the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. I think we can have all of the answers in the entire world. But what I have felt and know, and what Divine has said, the problem is that the older version of you is still running the show. This is very common in when we release weight. When I released weight, it was hard for me to allow this new version of me to run the show. I was so used to the older version and all of my old habits and mindset to run the show. You may have it in your own way, in your own example. So a version of you, that older version of you, just to learn how to survive. That's it. So if you've been beating yourself up at all, no thanks. That version of you, from what I've learned, has learned to be strong, responsible, needed, perfect, pleasing, successful, independent, and whatever else was necessary to feel safe and loved. That version of you saved you. It did. Uh, I get emotional thinking of that because it's been 20 years now that I thought about and I planned my own death. And that version of me, that past version of me, saved me. And you can honor that version of you. But love, that version of you was never meant to lead the rest of your life. You are the person that you are today, the person you know more than anyone else. She feels more, understands more, wants more, sees more clearly. That person is ready for something different. To love yourself without losing yourself. To give without abandoning yourself. To succeed without sacrificing yourself. To receive without guilt. I don't know. I think many of you, there's a few that aren't, but many of you are from the Midwest. And oh my goodness, receiving without guilt. Holy buckets. That's a whole thing. I'm originally from Iowa and now live in the South, in South Carolina, in the States. And in the Midwest, it was like, oh gosh, who am I to do this? Oh. Can you guys feel me on that one? All right. So maybe even you've learned that it is safer to I'm sorry, you want to be making money without making yourself miserable. But honestly, at the end of the day, Divine is like, Sarah, all that these people want, who want to live this healed life without leaving themselves behind. They want to finally allow happiness, health, wealth, love, freedom, and peace to become your normal. And so you don't need to hit rock bottom to need healed. You don't need to be lost. You don't even need to have everything figured out. And you certainly do not need a certain income, title, age, or level of success. You simply need to know that the way you've been living is no longer the way you want to live. Because there's a version of you that isn't waiting to become someone else. You are waiting for you to come home to who you already are. I got two questions. What would living healed mean to you? If you want to jot down some notes, this is just for your own reflection. What would living healed mean to you? So I've explained what healed means based on what Divine has given me. But what would living healed mean to you? Don't let the energy of the past weigh you down. As I'm sitting here feeling the energy of this call, there's a heaviness that comes. And this need to know the right answer and know what to say. I'm not asking for that. I'm just simply asking for you to ask yourself, why is not leaving yourself behind important to you? Why is being this now version of you, healed version of you, why is that important to you? Some are saying that I hear you, point taken, letting go of survival mode. has been difficult path of ups and downs. It has. There's a way. There's a way. There's an easier way. uh, and someone is also sharing that, yes, I do. I'm sharing the Midwest manners. Yes. Someone else is saying it's when I'm talking about what living healed means to them is it's everything: peace, tranquility, love, and honesty. Another person is saying patience, calmness, understanding, no more regrets. Yeah, no more regrets. I was in years past, when I went to visit family in Iowa over the summer, which is our normal summer trip, there would always be a bunch of emotions stirred up from all sorts of areas. And I would feel like I would have to twist and turn myself just to get along. This summer, none of that happened. I was completely myself. I spoke up when I needed to speak up, but I spoke with love. I listened to my own divine guidance. I aligned with my soul right in front of my parents. And I didn't even think twice about it. As someone is saying, living without encumbrances. I can't even say it. I'm so sorry. But living without those restrictions. And that I would live with those restrictions. And it was all free, emotionally free. I had fantastic conversations. One of my aunts said to my mother, oh, it seemed like she didn't even want to, she meaning me, she didn't even want to talk with me at my dad's birthday party. I was like, before, I would have taken that personal. I would have abandoned part of myself to appease everybody. I didn't. I sat and had the conversations that I needed to have, that I was guided to have. And those that I weren't able to talk to, that they're still going to be okay. So even when my aunt said that to my mom, I was like, no, that wasn't it at all. And my mom's like, oh, I know, honey. And it was that was it. Before, there would have been a whole lot of emotions and conversation. None of that happened. It was glorious. So to carry on our conversation, how do you come home to who you already are? I was like, okay, God, I interchange, in case you are new to me, I interchange God, divine spirit, the universe. I just interchange them. So a little thing about me, which is irrelevant to any of this, but in a text to a good friend, I said, okay, let's pray. Lord God. And she's like, Lord God, I thought you only used divine. I was like, everything is interchangeable, love. I just let it flow. So in case you hear me interchanging them, that's what's going on. So I asked divine, how do you come home to who you already are? Divine's answer, you learn to live healed. Divine's like, please give them the acronym. So if you so desire, please feel free to write this acronym down. It is HEALED, and I'll explain them. And you can follow this on your own. So I'm giving you what you need to live healed. Of course, I will offer you a self-transformation and a group offer that's going to be starting on Thursday. It's whatever options that you want. You're totally free to choose whatever works for you. But I want to give you what you need. So divine is over here saying, okay, if you really want to come home to yourself, who you already are, you learn to live healed. Divine's now saying to me, I need you to tell them the importance of living healed. And I don't have this written down. I was just going to go into the acronym now. the entire planet Earth has shifted into the frequency of more of the divine feminine, which is healed, whole, complete, receiving, gentle, calm, flow. And so it is essential for us, if we want to continue to align with the planet that we're living on, is to match that frequency of healed. And so I didn't know at the time, when Divine was asking me to change up my whole identity, that then there would be an opportunity to share this. And Divine says there will be 1 billion people healed. So the more people that are healed, then the ripple effect will continue. So I want to give you the acronym now that I was given, and then you can utilize that. All right, you ready? You got your pen and paper or your keyboard? So H, being healthy, mind, body, and soul. H, being healthy, mind, body, and soul. There were 2 questions that really helped me during this phase of living healed. And those 2 questions: is this healthy? Am I healthy? I'm sorry, there was 3. Are they healthy? And can I be healthy around them? There were 4. I'm changing things up. Is this healthy? So let's say, for instance, you are in the middle of a conversation with somebody and you're like, whoa, like you're starting to feel a little off. Your body, your whole body's starting to feel it. And you ask yourself, is this healthy? And then in that moment, am I healthy? Am I having a healthy mind in this conversation? Are they healthy? That's just a yes or no. You don't need to judge them and try to cure them, because I know all of us great healers and spiritual peeps like to diagnose and heal, as I have the You Can Live Your Life from Louise Hay book sitting next to me. And then are they healthy? And then the question, can I be healthy around them? Can I be healthy in this conversation? It can go with food choices for the body, exercise choices, soul. You can, is this experience, is this what my soul wants to be experiencing? Is this experience healthy? You can apply it to all things, all right? Those 4 questions. H, being healthy, mind, body, and soul, right? And then the E is being emotionally free, emotional freedom. All other techniques that were taught to me were very aggressive. Like I needed to go to a rage room and scream and yell and throw stuff. I needed to hit a pillow. It was just a lot of aggression, because people had seen anger and rage in me. Cool, totally get it, totally feel it. And then Atlantis Wolf, a dear friend and colleague of mine, taught me how to release emotions in a gentle, loving way. And that was the whole point. My soul, my being is very gentle and loving. And so I found it very hard to release the emotions in that rage room. But what she showed me, I show you and healed. It's simple, it's easy, it's gentle, right? And it allows you to be emotionally free. So you can have conversations. You can do these conference calls, these seminars, these masterclasses, whatever we're calling this. You can have as many clients as you want without having that emotional attachment. You can have conversations with your partner if you have one or not. If you want to get one, I don't care. If you have any children, or there is some restrictions or between the two of you, with that emotional freedom, the conversations become healthier. You become healthier, right? And I think many of you, knowing you, if I do, you may have read the book, The Body Keeps a Score. And so in emotional freedom, I don't add that book in there, but there is elements to connecting with the body and helping to heal aspects of your body. And then we go on to A. All right. So if you want to do this on your own, you would be becoming healthy, body. Oh my goodness, body, mind, and soul. And then E, emotional freedom, releasing those emotions. A is align with your soul. And as I was channeling this whole presentation earlier, this masterclass beforehand, Divine says it is so crucial that you tell them why. When you align with your soul, you get a glimpse. And it's this opportunity for you to know and live every breath by who you truly are and not by what they told you to be. And not in an egotistical way, not in an approving way, but in an empowered way. Because the core of who you are is absolutely, without a doubt, amazing. You would not be in my world if you were not of love and light. So I know that you are absolutely amazing. And anytime that you would have to go up against whatever it is that someone else is trying to bring to you, you would be able to center yourself, solve the problem, say what you need to say, and you would never abandon yourself again. And let me tell you, love, your soul rejoices at the thought of that alignment. So A, align with your soul. L, listen to divine guidance. You tune out the world. And then you can tune into that higher consciousness, that pure love. And you know how to live the life your soul came here to live. Divine gave me 5 steps on how to listen to that divine guidance. Some of you know them all too well. And then E, the second E in healed, is embody. Embodiment. You don't just read about something or listen to learn about a subject or a topic. You embody what it's like to be free, completely free, and aligned and feeling good. And you know what to do and when to no more second guessing yourself. No more of that. You're living what you know to be true. You're living from the core of your essence. You're embodied. That piece, when I am teaching the healed business immersion and people come to me to align the soul of the business with the business of soul, that embodiment piece, when someone walks their talk, everything aligns and clients come to them. I've watched it over and over again. It is remarkable. D, the final letter in healed, D, is decide. The power of that decision. Decide to live healed. And that's where you stop turning back and you focus forward, receiving with ease. You no longer even want to live in that past version of yourself. You enjoy those slow mornings and the people around you. You enjoy yourself because you have decided to live healed. All right. I want to take you on an experience now. So if you want to get into a comfy space, close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to visualize if you so desire. If closing your eyes feels safe to you, and if you're in the safe space. If you're driving, please don't do this. I want to take you on an experience. So think of a moment. Most recently, when you were about to go do something. You're going to be walking out the door. You were going to go, gonna get dressed, take a shower. You were going to do something in your house. You were going to go meet a friend. You were going to go do something. And think back to that moment. And this particular moment, that past version of you voiced tries to take over. Maybe it's saying something like, you don't really want to go meet them. You would rather be inside. Oh, the energy that it's going to take to deal with these people. How could you possibly have let yourself wait this long to do this? We all know you procrastinate. So you get the gist. Go back to that moment just for this moment, right here for this experience. I don't want you to stay there. We're just going to acknowledge that past version of you. Feel that version of you. Ask him or her or they, what were you afraid of? What did you need? Receive your answer. Acknowledge that past version of you. Accept that version of you just as they are. Invite them to come along as you walk through the doorway. Whatever hesitation that was happening, invite that version of you to come in. You are safe. You can even talk to that version. You are safe. You're coming along. I'm not leaving you. I'm not going to leave you behind at all anymore. Got it? I'm not going to abandon you. I invite you along. You're not going anywhere. You're welcome here. Come home within me. I will let you know, though, you're no longer going to leave. So do that for yourself. And then walk through the doorway in your mind, and walk into the room that you are going to be in as your now version, not the past version, as the now version of you, full of light, full of love, confidence and ease, free. What is your face doing? What is your body language like? How are you moving? If you're needing to say something, what is it? How are you creating in this new space as the version of you now? By your words, because your words are powerful. Just stay here in this space for a moment. Feeling what it's like to speak, be, do from who you are now, not who you were. Divine says, now tell them why this is so important. And this is so important is because you can use this particular exercise, this experience, in a matter of moments. You can, as soon as you hear that voice that wants to keep you stuck in a past version of yourself, you can identify it. You can connect with it, empathize, accept, listen, bring him, her, they along, and then move forward. And then when you enter the room, when you enter your experience, you can now use this experience and this visualization in that moment. And you can continue to be you now. All right. Let's take a deep breath in. Maybe this can come back. So you do not have to wait for life to be perfect. You don't have to wait until you are perfect. Divine is actually urging you, inviting you to a new way of living. And that's living healed. And like I said, you can do it on your own, following that acronym and the outline that I gave you today. That's an option. You can follow the guidance and the support, the exercises, meditations, the questions, the journals, and everything that Divine and I have worked together to create. So it doesn't take you 3 years like it did myself. It'll take you 42 days. And you can do that as self-transformation system. That's available to you. Or you can, if a community feel and support and friendship and personal guidance from me is more of your flavor, then you're welcome to join us. We're starting on Thursday, August 13th, and we'll begin 6 weeks together to go through each of the phases of healed, day by day, week by week, and we'll work together. I will put the link for you to make those choices, whatever your heart desires, here in the chat, and for you to decide what works best for you to move forward. So that way you're no longer leaving yourself behind, but living free from those emotional, mental, spiritual wounds that have kept you stuck, if they have. Divine and I truly are so grateful that you chose to be here tonight, sharing in this energy exchange, this learning and transforming for your next steps. So you can click the link and make a choice of what suits you best moving forward. And I just want to give you so much love and a welcome home, if you will. I had a client give this to me once. Welcome home. So I've been searching for home for quite some time. So I welcome you home to your new way of living. And I will pause the recording and open up the conversation if any of you have any questions that you would like to ask me. I will just pause the recording. Un momento. Pause.